All right, here we are. Becky Bell, Joe Lissette representing Nerd Rage Gaming. We got one match left. 2 players. Jesse Robkin versus Jordan Lidsky. Izzet Breach versus Hammer. The players are still making their way back over the table, sitting down, getting ready to go. I'm going to briefly cover the upcoming events of the Nerd Rage series. If you're interested in showing up and playing or just want to know when to block out your weekend so you know when to watch, our next event is in the end of September. Which you can see there in the bottom corner of the screen, September 24th and 25th in Minneapolis. This is the last event of Season 2. You can see it there featured as a full page. Modern 10K, Pioneer 5K. So that's the events that's the last event for Season 2. After that, the leaderboard will lock and then reset for Season 3. The overall leaderboard will continue, obviously, but the Season 3 leaderboard is unique, and it will consist of the following events. October in Newark, Ohio, Team Pioneer Modern Legacy and 5K Modern. November 5th and 6th in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Team Pioneer Modern Legacy 10K and a Pioneer 5K. November 26th and 27th, the home base in Mundelein, Illinois, the first 10K Pioneer event the Nerd Rage has ever hosted, and then a 5K Modern on Sunday. And then as part of Nebula Comic Con in the early part of December in Louisville, Kentucky, first time Nerd Rage has ever been to Kentucky, a 15K Saturday main showdown event and 5K Sunday trial. So hopefully you choose to join us for some or all of those events, either in person or online. If you're enjoying the coverage, feel free to follow. And we're going to get ready for the finals here. We're going to go over the deck list first. If the players aren't quite ready yet, well, it looks like they are. So, we'll scratch that, but you already know what they're playing anyway. So this is the finals. We may as well beat Nerd Rage and have the names reversed because that's definitely Jesse on the left and Jordan on the right. So we'll see if we can get that cleaned up. And you can see the trophy there. Kind of elegant the way that looks, the transparent. I like that.
Does look quite swanky.
All right, there we go.
Jordan is, as the first seed, going to be starting off on the play, which I'm sure has been at least slightly instrumental in Jordan getting to this point as well.
I mean, it helps, certainly. It also is something that I feel like, Jordan Lidsky has earned.
Mm-hmm.
Being top of the Swiss should be worth something, and I do like the modified play draw rules, what the judges call it, since it did used to be random. But player, I feel like in team events, going first is a little overpowered, but in solos, like we are here today, I do like it quite a bit. So let's go ahead and get things rolling. Let me check the tournament summary. Yeah, that didn't work. Let me not do that then.
Is that Jordan Lidsky counting his sideboard?
Ah.
I'm sorry, chat. I gotta get my little rub-ins where I can,
All right, so I can tell you that Jesse Robkin's loss today was to Eldrazi Tron against Damian Del Nero, who we saw play later in the evening. And Jordan Lidsky, if this will come up.
I guess that makes sense that you would struggle a little bit against the deck that is playing 3 to 4 Relic of Progenitus.
I suppose that would make things difficult. And no, the tournament summary thing is not going to cooperate quite yet. Give me a second here.
Yeah, and it sounds like we do have deck lists. If we want to pull up deck lists for everyone to see as well, we can. And if we're just going to watch the players take a look at them. Okay. Jordan is playing Mono White Hammer, so does have some Horizon lands as well to help draw things out a little bit. Otherwise, pretty close to what we were seeing actually just before as well. In fact, this might be almost the exact same 60, though maybe has some different sideboard things if we want to take a look at that, or if we just want to go to Jesse's deck.
All right, so that did come up eventually. So Jordan Lidsky, I can tell you, lost to Garrick Alford's Blue-White Control deck in one of the later rounds. So that was
and
his
got
loss.
vengeance.
Yes, so both players lost once in the Swiss and have made it here to the finals. Jesse Robkin's Izzet Breach, drawing opening hand. So you can see what she's got there, what she has access to, and The finals is ready. Let's go. We'll see how long that trophy manages to stay on the board before someone has to move it out of the way for their overflowing board presence. Both these decks can put, especially the Hammer deck, can put quite a few permanents into play.
Well, we've seen Jesse put a lot of permanents into play on turn 1 as well, is also playing Springleaf Drum, which is kind of one of the more infamous cards for allowing for very quick deploys of permanents.
And let the record show that 5 seconds was how long it took before the trophy was removed from the board.
It looks like Jordan going to be taking a mulligan here. This seems weird because, like, game 1, I guess you're just trying to be as aggressive as possible, especially now that Jordan's been able to see exactly the list that Jesse is playing.
Sorry?
Game 1, Mono White Hammer is just probably trying to be as aggressive as possible.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of main deck ways to really interact with this deck, so just trying to mulligan and be as aggressive as possible, especially after having seen Jesse's exact list.
Sure.
Because I could see a world where Jesse plays like a Ragavan or a Ledger Shredder, and you maybe don't get all the way through the game, and you'd be like, I'm playing against Izzet Murktide. Especially if you win too fast as the Hammer deck. So
yeah, I think in this matchup here, this is a matchup where Jesse is, I mean, probably a lot of the time, I would guess that she wins more often with the combo than with the creatures.
Well, I think we've seen 3 out of 4 times that I've at least been here have been combo wins instead of creature wins. So
and in a matchup in a matchup like this, it's going to be extreme, where there's just so many creatures on Jordan's side. It's hard to get through with Ragavan. Ledger Shredder has a better chance, but even so, I do expect that the Underworld Breach is the way to victory for Jesse Robkin, as we saw last match. And we are underway. Drum, Ornithopter, Cigar Izzet. Okay. Well, 4-card start there for Jordan Lidsky. Impressive stuff. We'll see if there's a good follow-up.
I mean, Jesse could not quite do the same thing. I guess we don't play any 0-mana creatures in Jesse's deck.
No, but Aether Spellbomb is a nice way to protect from a potential non-lethal hammer hit this turn. There's a Stoneforge in Jordan's hand. There's a Nexus. Okay, well, that certainly is a dangerous card if when hammers are available. Is Stoneforge Mystic going to come down here? We shall see.
Looks like that is it. Hammer into hand. Gonna go ahead. Hiya!
Yeah, not wasting any time at all. 1 card left in hand. Attack for 10 here. Drop Jesse to 9. Aether Spellbomb ready to go. Watch out for Blacksmith's skill, which can give hexproof and thus would result in a lethal hit next turn.
Yeah, so is there potential to just try an Aether Spellbomb on this turn?
Maybe.
Especially Jesse just played against a Mono White Hammer deck that played Blacksmith skill in one of the games, so it's got to be kind of on your radar.
Okay. That plan Mox Amber.
Emry does allow to turn on that Mox Amber so that we have that available to activate the Aether Spellbomb.
All right. Mill 4, no artifacts. And main phase bounce. Jesse is not going to get caught by Blacksmith skill just in case Jordan has it. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Second hammer.
whoa.
And that will do it.
Inkmoth has flying, so yeah, after no blocks to clear.
Right. And
wow.
That was short. So that was Jordan.
We might be in for a short finals here.
I mean, I mentioned the Mulda 5 turn 3 win that I witnessed a while back, and there's another one. Jordan Lidsky not wasting any time picking up for game 1 of this finals. And Jesse Robkin, I mean,
swift.
Yeah.
We're looking at this little bit of a written down sideboard guide. No way we know what we're, unless this was written right before this match. I feel like that's fair, you know? I guess. Yeah, Jesse's written whole articles on this deck, so you have a lot of material to study.
Sure. Yeah, Yeah, so Jordan Lidsky may very well know exactly what he wants to be doing here. Let's go and take a look at the sideboards ourselves, so you at home can see it, and we'll see if Jesse can make game 2 last longer than game 1, or if Jordan Lidsky is going to be on his way to picking up this trophy and the big prize today here at Nerd Rage Gaming. All right, Jordan Lidsky's sideboard. Lots of useful cards. Hushbringer does prevent the combo from working. Drannith Magistrate also prevents cards from being cast from graveyards, so 2 opportunities to do that. March of Otherworldly Light, Path to Exile, Relic of Regenerative, Pithing Needle. All these cards are good, basically, except Sanctifier and Vex.
Yep, that sounds about how I feel about this too. But you do have to worry, like, how much is overboarding for this deck? And are you okay with putting in a bunch of these different things and kind of watering your deck down? Because then you have less of a chance of having a hand just like that one that we just saw.
Absolutely. No, that's definitely true. I would expect that Jordan will look at this as he's unlikely to be grinding out a lengthy win here, because if you do get involved in trading stuff off, moving into the later game, Jesse has the ability to just draw the right cards and kill you despite any blocking you might have.
Yeah.
So I think Jordan may be trimming out for some removal, but it's going to be slower cards. It's going to be grindy cards. Maybe something like Nettle Cyst even doesn't make the cut when it's not one of the early equipment you're going to go for, and you're thinking, I don't want to play a longer game. I'm not going to waste my time. Let's go ahead and take a look at Jesse's deck list and sideboard. Or just sideboard, that's fine. That's good enough. We just saw her play this matchup. We saw the Wear and Tear came in.
Yeah, I believe the Teferis also came in.
Right.
We didn't see her get to play one, but I believe I saw one in her hand previously.
And that makes sense. Ways to deal with the Cauldron Complete, ways to deal with Wear and Tear just deals with the whole deck, basically. So also a case where there are lots of available cards to board in. However, in this case, I feel like on Jesse's side, it's easier to determine what to board out because we talked about it before. The Ragavans are just so unlikely to ever get through against the Hammer deck that they probably don't provide a lot of value, and Jesse may be swapping them out for creatures. I don't know that for sure, but that seems likely.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. How do you feel about things like the Spell Pierce?
Not great. I mean, it's fine, but
we're on the play too.
Yeah, we are. That's true. That's true. But we do have some powerful removal spells here. Explosives.
Very true.
Wear Tear, Teferi, maybe even Prismatic Ending is more desirable. Although Spell Pierce is probably close. All right, let's go ahead and go to the table.
Openers drawn. Are these 7s good enough? What'll it be?
No for Jesse Robkin.
How are we feeling about Jordan? I would guess that the put my cards down on the table means that it's a keeper.
I would feel likewise. So, Jesse Robkin got some work to do here. Oh, we just saw Jordan Lidsky win from 2 cards down. Jesse Robkin more than capable of doing the same. Let's see how it works, how things play out. Now, Jesse Robkin, I mean, I don't want to overstate this, but it's hard not to. Lost in the finals of the team event early this morning. So has been playing Magic all day long. Both these players have been playing Magic all day long, all weekend long, really. Jesse Robkin came very close this morning to taking home the trophy, piled up the Nerd Rage Series points, and is, even without an auto invite that would have been garnered by winning the team event this morning, still looking really good to potentially be in the Nerd Rage Championship at the end of the year. But I'm sure she would love to finish out the weekend by taking down this event.
Oh, and a nice start here. Otawara going to allow for that Aether Spellbomb to go down, and Mox Amber as well. So a lot happening early. Unfortunately, not really red mana, but Urza Saga, not going to be something that we're upset to see. And it allows for this Emry to come down extremely
good
well.
Start.
The Urza doesn't, but the other artifacts allow for this Emry to come down super cheap.
Really nice start for Jesse this game. I think maybe another Mox Amber in hand, which isn't ideal, but can be used as a Lotus Petal at some point later on.
There's a Lightning Bolt in hand as well.
Okay. Yeah. So no red mana again. So a little bit unfortunate in some of these games we've seen Jesse play today. Red mana just not coming out very early. But Aether Spellbomb being an opening hand twice, I mean, that's kind of intended to be found with Urza Saga, but it'll work. And here's Drannith Magistrate. So
thankfully we have this Lightning Strike, huh?
Well, Lightning Bolt even, yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
the Drannith Magistrate, maybe we can pop that up. This is going to prevent cards from being cast that aren't from hand, I believe is the exact wording of the card. And it's going to go return to hand immediately. Yeah, your opponent can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hand. Return to hand immediately because the Emry didn't mill any other artifacts. Now at least the Spellbomb does give it something to do.
Yeah, and I guess if we're worried about not getting a red mana for that lightning bolt, just spending the Aether Spellbomb to keep the ability to go off at some point available.
Right. Yeah, so there are definitely choices here. If there's not another land in hand, then the choice is going to be Construct or Aether Spellbomb out of the graveyard. And yeah, the deck making things difficult, not offering up the red mana sources. Jesse will pass.
It looks like an Underworld Breach is the other card in hand too. So close to all the pieces.
So if Drannith Magistrate comes back down here, that Aether Spellbomb will be trapped in the graveyard for now. But Urza Saga can bring up Springleaf Drum, which would unlock red mana.
Yeah, it looks like gonna go ahead, get that construct. Looks like we will be thinking about if we actually make another construct here, Wear Tear in hand along with Underworld Breach.
Okay, so 2 constructs flying through the deck, looking for Springleaf Drum. Okay, red mana, which will enable if there was, you said there was a bolt in hand?
I'm pretty sure there's a bolt in hand. I could have possibly mistaken it for a Underworld Breach, but I think that I saw like the full art bolt in hand.
Okay. Well, that would certainly prove nice. Here's an attack with the older construct for 4 damage, which is a pretty decent amount. Oh, and there's a land drop as well. Okay, so that fetch land likely came off this turn off the top of the deck. And now Jessie is really going to unlock her capabilities. So things start to look up for our prospects of having a game 3. And Jordan Lidsky missed a land drop, I believe, this game.
Yep.
And he's going to lose the one of the ones that's in play, as Tear is going to take down Urza Saga. Unfortunate to miss out on a second target, but certainly just fine given the scenario here. And Lightning Bolt does check out Drannith Magistrate, and this is not a whole lot of board presence here for Jordan Lindsay.
Yeah, definitely a very different situation from what was happening previously, and no land still does mean that just Esper Sentinel is going to be the play, and Jessie is certainly in the driver's seat here.
All right, 8 damage coming across.
Yeah, has the Underworld Breach in hand, so do we even try it? I don't know, we have these 2 constructs, our opponent's missing land drops, do we even try to go for it?
All right, here's a Spellbomb coming back into play. Potentially, I don't want to, I mean, Jesse Robkin knows this deck much better than I do, but Spellbomb would have allowed 2 more damage to come across from those constructs if that had been cast pre-combat. Either way, it does reset the Sentinel back to hand, and this might be it. And that is curtains on game number 2. Jesse Robkin couldn't quite get it done as fast as Jordan Lidsky did in game 1, but pretty close. And this may very well be the fastest match on the day.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of how this is going, I mean, Jesse's either going to be comboing off or Jordan is going to be winning very quickly. It's hard for me to imagine a way that both of these players end up with not a lot happening and us just kind of being stuck in a bit of a stalemate. So looks like we will be looking at some pretty quick games here, and Jordan now going to be on the play here as well, which certainly makes quite a bit of a difference, I would think.
I would think so. So both players shuffling up for game number 3. If you want to follow Nerd Rage Gaming, this is one of your last chances on the day. You don't want to miss out. You better do it now. This is the last game of the day. We'll wrap things up after this, and then we'll be off till the end of next month when we show up for the September event in Minneapolis. Took me a second to remember that, but we will be in Minnesota next month for the second time, I believe.
This is Minnesota, yeah? St. Louis?
This is St. Louis.
Missouri? Oh. Okay, yeah, we're going back to it. Last week, I made fun of people for not knowing how far apart San Francisco and Los Angeles are.
Wait, last week? That was yesterday.
Last week. Did I say last week? I meant yesterday. But I also probably did it last week, and here I am. Isn't St. Louis what's the name of the other city by Minneapolis, Minnesota?
St. Paul.
Oh, and I lived in Minneapolis. You'd think I would know, but
What? Yeah, I would think so then in that case.
Clearly I was a very pertinent point in my life, so oh my gosh, all right. Looks like Jordan happy keeping 7 and Jesse mulliganing at least once here to start us off.
Okay, well, let's see. So far we've had, did the player that mulliganed, Jordan mulled to 5 and won game 1. Did Jesse mull and win game 2?
No, Jordan mulliganed last game though.
Okay. All right.
So been a lot of mulligans for Jordan.
Yes, but keeping 7 here, so he must feel good about it. We did see the Draft Magistrate, which we expected, and it did not seem to cause much problem for Jesse.
Yeah, I think Jesse ended up pretty much just winning with beats instead.
Yeah.
Did not really care about the combo, which, again, we've seen the combo more often than not, which seems very different from a lot of the matches that we watched yesterday. So we saw a lot of combo decks winning comboing and a lot of combo decks not being able to combo yesterday.
I mean, how many times you said combo in that sentence? But I think it was like 5.
A lot. It was
That's
probably
all
very
right.
confusing to listen to.
Okay, so Jesse with at least some removal in hand. We see Unholy Heat there. See some lands, access to red mana before turn 5 for the first time in a while, feels like. And maybe a Shredder as well. And a pass. So if the turn cycle here is Jordan plays anything, Jesse Unholy Heats it, untaps and plays Ledger Shredder and Mox Amber to connive. That's pretty positive start for her side. However, Jordan loading up with Springleaf Drum, maybe looking to play more than one spell this turn.
Yeah, and certainly thinking about the sequence and ordering that is going to be coming from that.
Stoneforge Mystic. The Hammer de Colossus. And it's into play.
Whoa, okay. Even if we have Pure Steel Paladin, we'd have to come up with one more thing next turn.
And it wouldn't be attacking. And any delays are probably in Jesse's favor. So we'll see here whether this Unholy Heat comes off. I mean, I feel like you can't really risk not Unholy Heating because you don't know if there's a Cauldron Complete waiting in Jordan's hand.
I am likely in agreement with you.
All right, untapped Steam Vents certainly suggest there is going to be a play, and I actually don't think there are any end of turn plays in Jesse's deck aside from removal spells. Okay, bang. Stoneforge Mystic is out of here.
Not allowed to stick around. Steam Vents, Urza Saga. I don't know if Jesse has not had an Urza Saga in the last at least 6 games that I feel like I've watched her play.
It is certainly a nice card to have. All right, so it's a Bauble actually that triggers the Shredder and pitches the Mox Amber. Jesse says, go ahead.
Springleaf Drum was the draw for turn. And there's a Silent Clearing in hand, so another Colossus Hammer too, it looks like. The play that we made last turn would make me believe that we have a Pure Steel Paladin in hand, but it's still not very great here.
I mean, it's a reasonable assumption to make from Jesse's position also, seeing that Colossus Hammer just come down immediately. There could also be a Core Outfitter. That would be the other card that takes advantage of the equipment already being in play. On the other hand, Core Outfitter one of the second tier cards in the deck that could have been boarded out for sideboard cards. Something has to go, like we talked about. And we know the Dragon's Magistrates at the very least came in, and probably several other cards alongside them.
Yeah. And it is kind of a difficult decision. Do you go for something like the Pure Steel Paladin and just like suit it up? That gets kind of blown out by Aether Spellbomb, but like, it's a one of. Do you think that Jesse actually has it? Do we go for the safer play of doing Drannith Magistrate? But that's something that dies to Lightning Bolt and some other things that we know Jesse has in the deck too. Granted, we probably at this point also know that there is only one Lightning Bolt in Jesse's deck, so just a lot of decisions, and definitely a worthy head and hands moment for Jordan Lidsky.
Okay, there is indeed a Paladin coming into play. Here's a second hammer, so this will trigger the Shredder. Some much appreciated fixing, I'm sure, for Jesse Robkin, who loots away a Flooded Strand. Jordan will also draw a card from the Pure Steel Paladin and then load it up. So there you go, 22 powered creature. Don't want to get hit by that one.
Yeah, Ledger Shredder is available to be thrown under the bus. We can also probably make a Urza Saga token here. And that Urza Saga in 2 turns will be likely looking for an Aether Spellbomb.
Yep, that would fit. We do know there are blacksmith skills in the deck which can get in the way of that effect. There is, looks like another Unholy Heat in hand for Jesse. That's not going to do any good.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fetch to start this off as well.
Why does Colossus Hammer give +10/+10? Wouldn't it be more fitting if it was +10/+0? Why does a big hammer contribute to your defensive ability? I don't know.
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. I was just imagining, like, if you're a Colossus, you are good at fighting and defending, and it is a hammer of a Colossus. I don't know.
Okay, so does the Colossus Hammer magically turn you into a Colossus type creature instead of just being a heavy weapon you wield? Maybe so. Anyway, Jesse draws the Aether Spellbomb for the third game in the match.
Wow.
And just gets that Paladin out of here, guaranteeing that she'll survive through the Urza Saga being able to trigger.
Yeah, do we have an Emry in hand too, or is that another Ledger Shredder? Yeah, Sigarda's Aid in hand, certainly not a bad thing to have here, but gonna start off instead.
Not at its best when there's 2 hammers already on the board.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But I mean,
still going to be the play. I mean, if you've got it, you may as well play. It's certainly a card that is a threat for the opponent to have to worry about. And if there is another equipment that can be played off the Springleaf Drum, especially.
Oh, are we not playing back out the Pure Steel Paladin? We are not.
Drannith Magistrate and another Connive for Jesse Robkin. Certainly nice. Ledger Shredder getting pitched, not contributing too much to the game plan right now. And Pithing Needle was drawn. Jesse drawing these single mana Urza Saga tutor targets, whether she wants them or not.
Well, now that the Sigarda's Aid in play, you know that a Pure Steel Paladin is hand. You could, correct me if I'm wrong, play the Pithing Needle and name Colossus Hammer.
That's true. Yeah, you could definitely do that. That would shut off the hammers that are in play.
And that might be the clarifying question that's being asked here.
Yeah, this Unholy Heat is... Okay, so Urza Saga is not going to make a construct. That was how Jesse won game number 2. Game 3, shaping up a little differently. She decides to just float the mana and then dig through the deck once again. And that is a Mishra's Bauble. Okay, so just going for a card here, seeing what's coming.
Yeah, I think that actually Jesse has either drawn or has drawn all of the 1 mana options aside from maybe Springleaf Drum, unless that's in hand. So Mishra's Bauble may be the only target left in deck for Urza's Saga.
All right, Pithing Needle into play. And let's see if Jordan has a response here. I don't necessarily know what that would even be.
Oh, somebody's correct. Yes, Mox Amber is left as well.
All right, we'll find out from the table what this is naming, as there are certainly some options. So the rest of Jesse's hand appears to be a land, an Unholy Heat, and another Bauble. Another Conniving is done. Okay, so Colossus Hammer is the name. So to lock those two in play where they are, despite the presence of the Pierceful Paladin in hand. And here is Prismatic Ending to take out the Sigarda's Aid.
Whoa, that's
And
pretty...
there's a response. And it's hammer number 3.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty devastating for Jesse Robkin. Cannot say otherwise. And so now with 2 baubles left and empty-handed, I believe.
Actually, this Colossus Hammer being on this Draenith Magistrate when our Aether Spellbomb is already in the graveyard is kind of really spooky.
Yeah, that's a problem. So Teferi could clean that up.
Yeah, we just have to draw it. I guess
right.
we have 2 Bauble triggers, and we're just gonna
Yeah,
hope.
right. Yeah, this unfortunate. Jesse did throw away, I believe, a burn spell on the last connive, and that would have allowed a way around this this now 11 power Draenith Magistrate.
Oh, this is hard now too. Empty-handed, like, has baubles to look at the top cards of both libraries, but
Yeah,
you can't do anything to alter them.
right. There is always the option. I mean, again, this is not currently a lethal attack, and there is a blocker in play. Oh, that is
That's
very
nice.
good for Jordan Lidsky. I was going to build up to saying that Jesse still has the combo kill that can come off the top of the deck.
And that just went so
wow,
deep down.
Relic of Progenitus is vicious here. So that means the Draenith Magistrate and the Relic, 2 cards have to be dealt with before Jesse could combo out. I'm not going to say she can't come back from that, but things are looking up for Jordan Lidsky here.
Yeah, I mean, even though we've got this pretty big bird in the air, it is not as big as this 11, 14 Draenith, or 11, 13 Draenith Magistrate, and it's not as much of a clock to take out the 16 life points left for Jordan Lidsky.
Yeah, and he's going to check out the graveyard, decide whether he wants to cash in the Relic right now.
I mean,
for a card. I mean, there are, you would say it seems safer to leave it in play, but there are cards that he can draw that would just allow him to win the game immediately instead of letting Jesse be able to block for a turn. So it's going to activate for 1.
Card in hand appears to be...
He's going to keep it in play. Jordan Lidsky's play has seemed pretty sharp. The draw is a Horizon Canopy.
Yeah, and I believe 2 of the 3 things in Jesse's hand are a fetch land, or a Spirebluff Canal, and a Lightning Bolt. Unfortunately, that Lightning Bolt looks really rough right now.
All right, 4/6 Ledger Shredder will block, and even in combination with the Lightning Bolt, isn't going to come anywhere near dealing with this Draenith Magistrate. Let's see.
We have it's Unholy, but
so the combination of
4,
the combination of all the spells, even if it could take out the Magistrate,
not with the Relic of Progenitus in hand, we can
probably relies on
Delirium.
Right, exactly.
Production keeps trying to lead me astray. I realize that there's a Relic in play.
And
Like the math is there, but
Both
maybe you just have
players-
to go for it. Like what are your other chances going to be? The Aether Spellbomb
Sure.
is already in the yard,
Mhm.
and
And it
even if
gets
you get Emry, there's a Drain of Magistry in play.
what is action has stopped here. Oh, all right. All right. So they're pausing the match for a moment here. The room is a lot quieter, obviously, than it would have been during the day, and there is, well, unclear exactly what's going on here, but well, I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, because even if we go for this play, like what are the other outs? And I don't think that there are a ton, especially now with this relic in play, and we've seen that
Mhm.
Jordan is choosing to kind of hold on to it and play a little bit safer with it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it looks like we are in a little bit of a judge call situation as well here.
Okay, so we're waiting for action to resume here. All right. Well, I don't know if we should bring it back to us while we're waiting to see what. Jesse appears to be in agony here over something.
Mm-hmm.
All
Okay.
right. So, unclear exactly what it is, but we are certainly on the brink of the match ending. Jordan Lidsky looking prepped to pick up the trophy and walk away as the winner of the Energy Modern 5K and earn an invite to DreamHack Atlanta, which is a pretty nice achievement for a day.
Yeah, do we want to take a look at some of the future events?
Sure, we might
That
as
could be
well.
something. Yeah, well, we've
Yeah.
got nothing else to talk about. We've talked about
No.
what is happening in this exact match 10 ways to Tuesday. So,
Mhm. All right. So we do have the last event of season 2. You can see there, Modern 10K, Pioneer 5K at the end of September in Minneapolis. And then we have the season 3 schedule, which you can see the full version of it on the next slide. If we get to it. All right.
there we go.
So October in Newark, Ohio. November in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Also later in November in Mundelein, Illinois, which is outside of Chicago, featuring our first Pioneer 10K. And in December at Nebula Comic Con at the beginning of December in Louisville, Kentucky, 15K Modern Showdown with a 5K Pioneer Sunday event. And that will be the end of the year, the end of season 3. We'll lock up the remaining players for the NRG Championship.
And that Nebula Comic Con one, 15K. That's kind of a lot. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. That was just a showdown event. The showdowns have increased prize pool. That's every 4th event that ends each season, or at least the intention was that it would end each season. But then the January event was canceled due to lingering coronavirus issues. So we are actually, it's the event after each showdown that has qualified in season 1 and season 2. But yep, season 3 is back on track. We can go ahead and bring it back to us. Perhaps we can hop up the leaderboard, which if the leaderboard was updated for this weekend's events, Jesse Robkin would be very prime position. As it is, still looking pretty good. You can see there where things are at. This is the season 2 leaderboard. Jesse Robkin will be moving upwards, probably to the top based on the finals appearance at the team event yesterday and this morning, and then the finals here today. regardless of the outcome, which we're still waiting for. And then the season 3 the overall leaderboard, where Jesse's teammate Zoe Reederman looking in 4th place, but 2nd out of the unqualified players, and also looking to move up potentially over Zach Allen, who may have had a good weekend, but the Reederman Robkin team, really did nice work making it to the finals this weekend alongside Piper Powell, and then with Jesse making the finals of the modern event, really taking a leap up the leaderboard. So come back to us. Some sort of rule. I don't even know what the issue was particularly yet, but the judge is issuing some sort of ruling right now. So we're about to resume the game, and I don't think we have much time left, many turns left in the game before it's decided.
Yeah, and hopefully when we have this ruling, we will let you all know as soon as we know. We're just as anxious as everybody else here.
Right. Yeah. There have certainly been a few judge calls today that were complicated, required rewinds. I don't know that this one necessarily could be one of those. So we remain where we are. So we are in a situation where nothing is going to be changed. Whatever the judge call is about, nothing is going to change, and we still have this Strath's Magistrate attacking for lethal, Urza Shredder blocking. And yeah, so this is where we left off. All right, Unholy Heat to load up damage on the Strath's Magistrate, and a Relic of Regeneratus will reduce the damage from 6 down to 2. Oh, I'm sorry, that's just the first activation. All right, there's the full activation to wipe the graveyards. So I looked at Esper Sentinel drawn off the cantrip effect by Jordan Lidsky. Lightning Bolt, Connive, Unholy Heat still on the stack. I believe the draw was Urza Saga. There it goes. So this looks like it's going to be a collective, or never mind that. It's going to be a blue-red duel. So it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage, it looks like. So the Strath's Magistrate will survive. So if Jordan Lidsky had let the Unholy Heat resolve for the full damage, then the Strath's Magistrate looks like it would have traded. That would not result in Jesse being ahead by any stretch, but it would at least clear the board and force Jordan to find out another threat. Instead, it's going to come up 4 damage shy. And
yeah, literally exactly because of that Relic of Regeneratus. So things that we're looking for Jesse at the top of the deck here are Teferi. Ooh.
Oh, there is the Pure Steel Paladin back into play, and there is a Esper Sentinel. So
that does not have Colossus Hammers attached to it.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, and that will do it. So Jesse did have the Underworld Breach in hand, but with the graveyard wiped out and the Strath's Magistrate in play, like we said, the two answers to Underworld Breach prove sufficient. And Jordan Lidsky is going to win the Modern 5K event. Congratulations to him, taking home the top prize, the points, and an invitation to DreamHack Atlanta. So well played by him. Well played by all our players. Becky, good time, right?
I mean, and congratulations to Jesse for, sure it wasn't a locked up win in either, but second in 2 events over the same weekend is definitely still very impressive.
Right. Absolutely. The huge point windfall for Jesse Robkin, going to be skyrocketing up the leaderboard. Jordan Lidsky qualified now for DreamHack Atlanta if he wasn't already. These invites do not pass down. So if he was already qualified, it doesn't impact Jesse's fortunes at all. But yeah, an exciting weekend. And we got to see this matchup twice. We got to see Hammer versus blue-red Izzet Breach twice in the last 2 rounds. I don't think he disappointed. I thought it was fairly exciting to see how this played out.
Yeah, and I think that we did get to see Jesse do a really good job in both games. I do think that the sideboard from Jordan in particular was just like a little bit better, was playing that Relic of Progenitus that ended up mattering quite a bit in that final game. So different to see, even though it's the same archetype, not quite the same exact deck, and it makes a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Drannith Magistrate, I mean, granted, 11 power is a lot. Yeah, that third hammer, after the first two are locked down, having the third one in hand to Springleaf Drum in to save that Drannith Magistrate, that was really a key play in the outcome of game 3 there.
Yeah.
And it just, it proved to be too much. So, yeah, quite a weekend. Hopefully you all enjoyed the coverage. It takes a lot of effort to bring these to you. I don't know if we've got anything else for you. I don't know what that would even be, as we have completed our run through the event. So that is going to do it for the end. We'll see you next month. I want to acknowledge all the people that put a lot of work into this event. The judge staff headed by Sam Lewis and by MaxCon, coordinating and putting things together. We had the booth, which helps us put on these events, are run by Dakota Clark and his other employees that buy and sell cards all weekend long at these events. I mean, it's a long day for us, long weekend for the players. The players of the booth and the judges work hard also. We've got David as the new director. Don't remember his last name, but it's Eldon. All right, we'll learn it eventually. I mean, he's new. We'll give him maybe 6 months or a year. Then it will be bad if I don't know his name. At this point, it's fine, right? For our spotter, Corianne, and for our commentators, we had Becky Bell on both days. We had Devin O'Donnell, Anurag Das, and Julian Kanab yesterday morning, all the way back to the beginning of this event. For Nerd Rage owner Norman Cohen and everyone associated, thanks for watching. We'll see you next month.